I think researchers are not communicators generally, but I think plain language summaries ought to be written by independent people doing practical commercial review. I think that would produce the most balanced plain language summary. Quick response, I agree. We had a discussion yesterday in the workshop, the social media workshop, and some of that discussion was around maybe as a collaboration there should be people whose job it is to do exactly what you have described, doing media researchers, if we're doing podcasts perhaps as ways of disseminating information from reviews, maybe the people who do those should not be the review authors, but should be somebody who is really, really good at it. And similarly with the writing of plain language summaries, maybe that is the best response. Let's give it to somebody who is really, really good at it. So essentially, fully agree.
Oh, thank you. In the oral health group, in a way, we've embraced that, and our consumer coordinator is the person who takes responsibility for constructing the plain language summary. And I think Diana is alluded to someone independent coming in, and it's quite insightful the contribution that she makes. And sometimes even the title of the review changes because she realises what the review is about is not what the title is saying. So it's quite fundamental issues that can be brought up, and often at a late stage. And I think Anne, who's responsible for social media, she very much relies too on the plain language summary in terms of the blog and trying to increase the accessibility of the work that we do. Sean, would you please, there's always the picture. Thank you. My name is Nicole, so I'm a PhD student and I am working with Cochrane Plenary. And my question is also for Sean. Do you think that there's a way to use the plain language summaries to sort of combat the general distrust of the research organization? I'm not sure who it is in other countries, but in the United States at least there's a lot of distrust of scientists. And do you think there's a way to sort of combat that?
Maybe I'm just naive. I'm not sure I would say personally that in the UK that I feel that scientists are particularly distrusted. Politicians, yes. Scientists, less so, I think. I think plain language summaries and a willingness to engage with the media, broadly speaking the media, will always help to make the scientist's voice available on the table when people are making decisions. So I think it's important that we put our message across, that we put it across well, and that we are open and honest about the strengths and weaknesses of the research that we're talking about. As with all other human relations, I think if we are open and honest always in the way we communicate, then that will build trust as it can normally relations. So, I don't sense that scientists are particularly distrusted in the UK. In the States, I don't know the States. If that is the situation, I think open, honest discussion about the strengths and weaknesses of research is important. Cochrane is particularly good at summarising a body of evidence clearly. I think they would therefore also have the opportunity to help combat some of that problem. So yes, although I'm much more optimistic about the publishing of research, certainly when we have spoken to members of the public, they think we are doing a great job generally, and that's both good and bad. So if we talk to them and say some research is of low quality, that is genuinely a very new concept to essentially every member of the public we have spoken to. Research is research, and that is a problem for us if we need to get better research. So, open, honest discussion about results is the key.
The MJ's press releases, So I was very pleased to hear Sean's presentation. I completely agree that the bottom line should be at the top. However, it's risky when you try and summarise a conclusion of something very nuanced for journalists and for the public. And it's very easy to slip into helping your message at that point because messages tend to become very absolute when you have to shrink things down. So I just wonder if it might help to have some kind of glossary which whoever is going to write these for you can draw on. We have just recently added to every Hospice BMJ from observational study a phrase that basically says correlation is not causation. And we were pushed into that by a very, very good and critical journalist from the US called Gary Schwartz, who has a fantastic blog called Health News Review. And he gets our press releases and he is very tough for us. But it does help journalists, actually. We now see them taking that phrase that we've put in and repeating it in their media reports. So it might help you if you have this ready glossary to hand of the nuanced things that you want to get across.
Can I just comment on that, just briefly? Distillation should be agony, actually, Trish. And I've done some work on the press releases as well for Cochrane, and actually the kind of things like words like name probably should be the things that you actually sweat over most. So I'm glad you're having some difficulties with that. From Canada, and this question is for Alison. Actually, I've had attending another priority setting session of CPA being run by licensed physicians based in Canada. It's interesting to see how the priorities sometimes can be actually quite divergent. I guess the question that I have is how generalizable the priorities based on the 60 stakeholders that you present on is to the wider CKD community. And you mentioned about synthesization of the actual priorities, but would there be any revisions based on public input, and whether there will be some sort of consultation process that is broader than the focus group itself?
That's a very good question. I'm well aware of the Canadian group who actually ran a partnership in Canada with Borderlands and Hyderabad, and they did a fantastic job. And actually, I would say that there was considerable overlap in some of the research priorities identified with that group as well. So in terms of transferability of our findings, we conducted a example to try and get a more diverse range of views among the participants in our group, with transferability beyond our culture, our national context, particularly to middle or lower income countries. That's very uncertain. And it would be great if more research prioritisation work was done in other settings so that we can even make a comment about whether our findings are actually transferable. I'm afraid we're out of time now, so I would like to thank all of you very much for coming along to this session, and a particular thank you to the presenters today. Thank you.
I'm glad that the organizers like to thank the speakers and the chairs for the wonderful plenary. Thank you very much. We have a gift for you to have with you. There's one big blip you may have noticed that you don't have an abstract book in your bags. Unfortunately, it didn't arrive, and we're hoping to have it arrive probably before lunch, and we'll let you know where you can collect it from. The abstract book is arriving. The posters will have to be removed just after lunch session because we've prepared the room for evening's gala. If you don't remove it, you probably take it off and keep it available in the registration desk here. And the same with the exhibits. The exhibition stores will also come down, except for the Wiley Exchange taken to the autograph. We're very grateful to all of you who attended the Anne Anderson fundraiser. It was great fun. I don't know how much money we raised, but everybody had fun. We're hoping to have some of the saris which people wanted available today. We're not sure exactly how it will work out, but if you go towards the registration desk, you might find some saris for sale in case you want to dress up for this evening's dinner. and we warmly invite you for the gala dinner. It'll start at 7 p.m. It's a little tricky if you come a little late because the contract is for unlimited wine and beer for the first 2 hours. So if you come a little late, it doesn't matter because other people will have it.